What's up, guys? JP back at you once again, bringing you guys day number 8 in my 12th annual 31 Days of Horror, a series in which we watch and review 31 horror films in 31 days, all during the month of October, leading right up to Halloween, and continuing along with our reviews here. We have one that I had to revisit. It's been a little while, and that is 1980's The Shining here on 4K. This is a film that I've always had a weird relationship with. I respect The Shining. I think it's like one of the best horror movies ever made, but it's not one of my favorite horror movies. It's not one that I go to very often. Sure, if it's on or I have to watch it for like a podcast or something, I'm more than happy to actually watch it, but just in my free time, it's not one that I'm going to pop in. I'm going to pop in like Return of the Living Dead or Day of the Dead or Legend of Boggy Creek. Something that is a go-to for me. Might be exaggerating a little bit with Legend of Boggy Creek, although I do love it. The Shining is just not one of those titles that I really love like a lot of people do. And I'm not sure really why, but anyway, The Shining, it follows, it's directed by Stanley Kubrick, 1980, based on a Stephen King novel. Famously, Stephen King did not like the adaptation when it came out, and I think he's since softened on it a little bit, but at the time it was a very personal novel to him, and he just wasn't feeling it, which I understand. But most people consider The Shining one of the, 10 best horror films ever made. And it basically follows this character named Jack Torrance, who was a school teacher but is looking to get a new job, and there's this hotel called the Overlook Hotel, which is this very famous old hotel in the mountains of Colorado, and he essentially gets a job as the winter caretaker because it's up on the mountains. They close down for the winter, and there's really the roads are just too crazy to go back for anybody to go up, so they hire one dude to basically watch over it during the winter and keep up with maintenance or something. And he takes his family, his wife, played by Shelley Duvall, and Wendy, I couldn't remember her name, Wendy, and their son Danny Torrance up to this hotel to watch it over the winter. And there is some history with the hotel that it possibly might have a lot of dark things that happen there, such as this man murdering his family, his daughters and his wife, who was also a caretaker. And also there is this sort of ability that Danny has, young little Dan, who's 6 or something, I don't know how old he is, called The Shining, which he learns about from Scatman Crothers' character, who's a cook up there. And when they go up, Jack does his interview, he gets hired, he brings the family up when they're sort of just about to be closing for the winter. He meets everybody, he's shown around. There's a cook there named Scatman, I don't know what his name is in the movie, but he's played by Scatman Crothers. And he basically realizes that Danny can shine, which is sort of like this telepathic thing. And he tells Danny about The Shining and stuff like that. I'm not really sure why he let this kid stay at this hotel when he kind of knew some bad shit was going to happen. He knew it was a bad place. But that's beside the point. He tries to save him later. It doesn't really work out. So that's basically the story. Jack starts going a little crazy, getting a little nuts, getting a little ticked off at his family. I mean, if I was married to Wendy, I might be a little bit axe murdery too. She is a bit annoying. Danny's pretty annoying as well. Yeah, there's some scary ass moments in the movie. There's a great scene with this hot woman who turns into a not so hot woman ghost thing. Some of my favorite scenes in the movie, probably my favorite stuff, is when Jack starts talking to the bartender who worked there, presumably, and that stuff is really good. Jack Nicholson absolutely kills the role. I mean, everybody does a really good job. Wendy, Shelley Duvall does a really good job. She has sort of like that battered wife syndrome thing going on, where, you know, Jack is, in my opinion, I think he's a bad guy before he ever gets to the Overlook Hotel. And I think it's sort of probably alludes to that as well. But that's just how I've always taken it. I mean, the shots in this film are just incredible. Stanley Kubrick is on his A game here. It's just such a beautiful movie. Everything seems so deliberate. Like, even like the carpet and stuff. Everybody knows that iconic carpet, which actually is not on the cover here. Figured it would be, but it is not. But the carpet and the Room 237, Red Rum. There's so much like iconic stuff in this, and so much of the shots and everything, the design of the film feels so deliberate and planned out, which makes sense because it's Kubrick. Just a phenomenal movie. I mean, every time I watch it, I'm like, man, this movie's long as hell. You know, before I actually start it, but it doesn't really feel that long. I'm not sure why I don't love it like some people, but I can recognize that it's great, and I always enjoy it when I watch it. I just, for whatever reason, I never, like, I'm always like, I don't feel like watching The Shining. But then once I do, I'm like, The Shining's great. So yeah, The Shining is a 10 out of 10. I give it a 10. It's a damn 10. Yeah, look at me explaining The Shining like you guys don't already know. I doubt there's a single person watching this video that hasn't seen The Shining, so what the hell am I talking about? Anyway, that is day number 8. We'll see you guys next time with another one. Peace.